Hello, welcome to Thursday. It's a good day. It's our second broadcast this week. Hope it's one that is beneficial to you. Glad you're with me today. Let's stir our minds just a little bit. So come on into my little world. Share a thought with me, at least for a moment or two. You know, we hear a lot about people wanting to benefit from something that has happened maybe a long time ago, maybe to parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, or others. I don't have the answers to those situations in life. You know, personally, I recognize that my ancestors, the Irish part of our ancestors, made their way into this country probably in the early 1800s. Sometime in the early 1800s, I don't have the exact date. My uncle that probably could have told me has passed away and I don't have the answer to it. But anyway, they lived a hard life. Came in, they were poor, came from poverty, came to poverty, worked hard, lived on meager incomes, got by, were belittled, moved from place to place for a while, settled in Kentucky, ultimately made their way into the back hills of Tennessee, out of which my grandfather made his way to Texas and never was a man of any wealth, but just lived his life. Hardship, difficulty, passing away of 2 wives and at least 1 child. He saw his share of things. Don't have anybody to blame for anything, just we live life. I guess when you've lived your life in a certain way, you recognize, here's where I am, and here's what I've got. I think that's kind of what Paul was getting at in a way, and I'll elaborate more in just a minute. What Paul was talking about in the 6th chapter of Galatians when he says, "But let each one examine his own work, and then he will have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another, for each shall bear his own load." Did you ever think about how marvelous it'd be if everybody just took responsibility for themselves? I guess it was in school a long time ago that we recognized and teachers taught us we were not to look on other people's papers. We were not to cheat and get answers from others, especially when we were taking a test or trying to do our work on our own. We needed to learn it for ourselves and do that. Never thought much about it. It was just the natural way. That's the way the family was. That's the way we were taught in Sunday school and such as that. You're responsible for yourself, honesty, integrity, and so forth and so on. Be yourself, take responsibility for yourself, find out where you are, do the best that you can, and go on. Those are kind of hard lessons to learn sometimes. For I was thinking about an occasion, I guess I was a freshman in high school, about the 9th grade. I was in the 9th grade. And I was in class. I was not one of the popular students, not one of the outcasts either, but I was not a popular student, but there were those who were very popular, and I tell you that because one of the girls that I knew, let's just call her Jane. That's not her real name, but we'll call her Jane. I apologize if your name's Jane. Anyway, Jane sat kind of over and a little behind me, in the next row and behind me in our history class. And one time we were taking a test, and I just remember this so vividly because it so caught me off guard. As I heard her whisper, Russ, what's the answer to number 11? I didn't know what to do. I couldn't turn around and talk to her. If we got caught cheating, then we'd be in trouble. And so I kind of casually moved my arm so that she could see my paper. And she got the answer to number 11. I'm not positive it was number 11, but that's the way I remember it, so we'll just do it that way. I don't know whether she took any other answers from me or not. I felt guilty about it for about the last 50 years, but not greatly. I thought, that really struck me. She was bright, popular, talented. I was just the ordinary kid. I did well in school, but for her to ask me for that answer, I don't know that I ever asked anybody to let me cheat off their paper. If I did, I don't remember it. Don't remember ever saying those words. Don't really remember looking at somebody else's paper. I just remember being frustrated over my own answers. But for somebody like that to ask me that question really caught me off guard. Shouldn't we just all be responsible for our own things? The good things we do, and even the bad things we do. You know, the times that I received a spanking or a discipline of some other kind, there was a time or two I had to stand in a corner for a while. Generally, I was probably guilty, deserved it, needed the discipline, needed the correction, don't we? If we're honest and we admit it, that's a good thing. I think I recognize here's where we are. Whether it's fair or not fair, here is where we are. Let's do the best with what we've got. Let's do the best from where we are. And if each one of us would pick up our own load, if each one of us would carry our own pack as best we can, think how much more smoothly things would run. I know we're communities, I know we're people, I know we're part of one another. I know we've got whole groups and tribes and organizations and companies and families and all of those things that we join together and we affect one another for sure. But if we just said, here's where we are, and let's move forward from here and be the best we can be, I got to believe the world would be a better place. Let each one bear his own load. What you've got, pick it up, carry it. If you have a little trouble, maybe somebody will help you along the way. I think that's what we do. Friends, let's make the best of the day. I think it's a great time to be alive and a great time to pick up your pack and carry your load. Hey, I hope you have a great Thursday. We'll look forward to more thoughts in the days ahead, if you're still willing to listen to the foolishness that goes on up here. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I thank you for being with me today. We'll do some more a little later.